With the cooler temperatures, we're craving comfort food again, and with our kids back in school, it's great to have leftovers for a really good school lunch. Hi everyone, I'm Ahmed, and today on our food adventure, we're making a mushroom meatloaf that's delicious and moist. Mushrooms pack a lot of flavor, and when you mix this together with your meat, you're using the blend and extend technique, which makes your meals a lot more affordable, but also packs a lot of flavor. I'm going to start with a pound of brown mushrooms. Now I'm going to slice half of these, and I'm just going to reserve the other half. In my food processor, I'm going to add a slice of bread, and I'm going to make fresh breadcrumbs out of this and keep it aside. Next, in the same food processor, I'm going to add the other half of the mushrooms. I'm going to add an onion that I've quartered. I've got 4 cloves of garlic as well as 2 green chilies. Now I'm going to give this a good blitz. Following this, I'm going to pack in 2 pounds of regular ground beef. Now you can use a mixture of veal and pork, which is traditional in a meatloaf, or you can even use mutton mince, which is really delicious. I'm using beef today because it's very economical and easily available. Once I've packed my meat into my food processor, I'm going to add some salt and pepper, and I'm going to add some spices. I've got 2 teaspoons of chili powder as well as 2 teaspoons of roasted cumin powder. I'm going to also add an egg, and then I'm going to pulse my mixture together. Don't forget to scrape down in between, and I'm also going to add the fresh breadcrumbs that I made earlier, as well as some chopped coriander. I've got about half a cup of chopped coriander. I'm going to add that in and give it another good blitz. Now, as you can see, my food processor is quite large. I'm able to process the whole batch at the same time. But if you have a smaller food processor, you can do this in batches. Once my mixture has come together, I'm going to transfer this to another bowl and really mix it well. At this point, I'm going to take a little bit of my mixture and I'm going to fry it. I always like to taste the meat mixture before it's cooked. If it doesn't have enough salt or spices and you cook it, it's way too late. So it's always a good idea to just try a little bit before you cook it. And now it's time to assemble everything. I'm using a glass loaf pan, but you can use any other loaf pan that you like. You can even just pile up your meatloaf onto a cookie sheet, and that'll work well too. In my grease pan, I'm going to add my meat mixture just enough so that it forms at least an inch at the bottom. I'm going to pack all of this in really tightly with a spoon, and then I'm going to add 3 boiled eggs back to back across the middle of the pan. Then I'm going to add the rest of the meat mixture, and I'm going to pack it in really well using my spoon. You want to make sure that that meat mixture has gone right around the eggs. Once this is done, it's ready for my hot 350-degree oven. I'm going to take my loaf pan and I'm going to add it on top of a cookie sheet. Sometimes a lot of water comes out of the meatloaf and it tends to boil over. So I don't want to make a mess in my oven. So it's always a good idea to add a cookie sheet. In it goes into my hot oven, and it's going to cook for at least 45 minutes to an hour. My meatloaf is almost cooked, and now I'm going to work on the sauce. Now if you remember, I sliced some mushrooms earlier. I'm simply going to saute these, and I'm going to add a couple of teaspoons of butter to make it really rich and delicious. Now once these are sauteed, I'm going to take my meatloaf out of the oven. You will see that there's a lot of really delicious juice that's going to come out of that meatloaf. Now I'm not going to throw that away. I'm simply going to tip that into my saute pan with the mushrooms, and I'm going to let it cook. Add a couple of tablespoons of cornstarch and your sauce will thicken right up. I'm going to let my meatloaf sit for a few minutes, and after that it is ready to slice and serve. Make sure to add some of that delicious mushroom sauce over your meatloaf, and you have one terrific and tasty comfort meal. If you want some other great family recipes, try my barley stir-fry recipe or my rosemary lasagna recipe that I got from my good friend Lindsay Wells from the Kitchen Witch channel. So stay tuned for those recipes, click on those links and enjoy. And don't forget, I upload new videos every Friday, so make sure you're subscribed so you're the first to see them. Until I see you again, do take care. Bye.